Hey, I'm Jem, and for years I believed what every lead gen expert on the internet said, that success was all about being disciplined, structured, and following the process to the letter. You know the drill. Wake up early, follow the script, send the emails, track the numbers, repeat. And don't get me wrong, structure is important, but what if I told you that the single biggest leap I ever made in my business, the one thing that literally doubled my qualified leads, came from doing the opposite of what everyone preaches? Yep, it came from embracing something I used to beat myself up for, a so-called bad habit. And once I learned how to use it strategically, it became a total game changer. So in this video, I'm going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how I turned that bad habit into a profit multiplier. Here's how we'll break it down. First, I'll tell you what that bad habit actually is and why most people completely misunderstand it. Second, I'll walk you through my 3 step framework for turning that bad habit into a lead magnet instead of a time waster. And finally, I'll show you real numbers from my own business so you can see how this plays out in real life. And by the end, you'll walk away with a new, unconventional weapon in your marketing arsenal. And hey, if you're still thinking, Jam, I love this, but honestly, I'd rather skip the testing and just get qualified leads delivered straight to my CRM and inbox, I got you. That's literally what I do. I provide ready to buy hyper targeted leads for business owners who just want results without burning hours on outreach. Stick around till the end and I'll show you how to get access. All right, let's get into it. What is this bad habit that actually changed everything for me? So, you know that feeling when you're about to launch something, a campaign, an email sequence, a new targeting approach, and suddenly your brain goes, wait, maybe there's a better angle. Should I test this instead? Maybe I should wait until it's perfect. Yeah, that used to be me, and I still struggle with this. And for the longest time, I thought that hesitation, that indecision was killing my progress. Because that's not what every productivity book says, right? Decide fast, don't overthink, just execute. But here's what I realized, and it changed everything. That moment of indecision isn't always a weakness, sometimes it's data. Let me explain. When you've been in the game for a while, running campaigns, talking to clients, reviewing numbers, your intuition becomes the hidden analytics tool. When your gut says something feels off, that's not procrastination, that's your subconscious flagging that something's missing in your targeting, messaging, or timing. Once I stopped trying to fight that hesitation and started to analyze it, everything shifted. I called it I started calling it a strategic indecision. It's not about stalling, it's about listening to your internal signals before taking action. Because most people rush into their campaigns, burn through ad spend, and then wonder why their leads don't convert. But by pausing strategically, I was able to catch small things like mismatched intent keywords, unclear CTAs, or weak follow ups before they cost me money. And once I refined that process, my qualified leads didn't just increase, they doubled. But here's the kicker, you can't just decide slowly and expect better results. There's a framework behind it. So in the next part, I'll show you my 3 step framework to turn your bad habit into a money making filter for better leads. Trust me, you'll never look at indecision the same way again. All right. So now that you know that what strategic indecision actually means, let's talk about how to use it. Because here's the thing, this isn't about being flaky or overthinking every move. This is a disciplined, systematic process. You're not being indecisive because you don't know what you're doing. You're being indecisive on purpose to get smarter, faster. Here's how I like to think about it: be indecisive in your strategy, but hyper decisive in your testing. It's like you're giving your ideas room to compete with each other before you crown a winner. And that's and to do that, I use what I call a 3 step framework for profitable indecision. Let's break it down. Here's where we start having fun. Instead of betting on one horse, the one campaign you hope will work, you're betting on three, but you do it with small, controlled bets. Think of it like this. For 1 month, you run 3 different lead generation campaigns at the same time with the same small budget. Why? Because one of the biggest traps in lead gen is pulling everything into one channel too soon. You dump your whole budget into Facebook ads or LinkedIn outreach, and then when it flops, you're sitting there thinking, well, Guess lead gen just doesn't work for my business. No, it does. You just never tested enough angles. So here's what this looks like in practice. Campaign a LinkedIn outreach campaign targeting specific job titles in your niche. Maybe you're messaging owners of HVAC companies or property managers, whoever your market is. Campaign B, a small, hyper-targeted Facebook ad campaign focused on one main pain point. Not generic regenerate leads, but something like tired of paying for junk leads that never pick up the phone. That kind of specific emotion-based copy. And campaign C is a simple lead magnet, maybe a checklist, a free audit, or an industry report promoted through a small Google Ads budget. And I want to emphasize this, the budget size matters. We're not talking about dropping thousands on each test. Let's say your total lead gen budget for the month is 3,000. Instead of putting all that 3,000 into one campaign, you're going to divide it evenly. 1,000 per campaign. That's your indecision. You're intentionally spreading your bets so you can gather intelligence before you commit to a channel. But most people would say that's being unfocused. But in reality, it's being scientific. You're not guessing, you're running 3 small experiments at once. Now, here's where this approach starts paying off, literally. Because you can't manage what you don't measure, and you'd be surprised how many marketers skip this part. You'll run the ads, post content, send messages, but when you ask, okay, what's your CPL? They just blink. So here's what you do. You track all 3 campaigns on one simple scorecard. I personally use a Google Sheet, nothing fancy. You just need to monitor 4 key numbers. Cost per click, how much does it cost to get someone's attention? Lead conversion rate, of the people who click, how many people actually become a lead? Email, phone number, etc. Cost per lead, your total spend divided by total leads. This shows your efficiency. Lead to qualified call rate. This one is the magic number. How many of those leads are actually showing up to calls, replying, or genuinely interested in buying? And then you have other metrics like cost for qualified call and then client acquisition costs. But here's the truth. Not all leads are created equal. A cheap lead is useless if they never answer or have buying power. So this last number of lead to qualified call rate, this tells you the quality behind the quantity. So after 30 days, you don't just look at the numbers and shrug. You just hold what I like to call a post-game meeting. It can be you, your VA, your media buyer, whoever. You look at the scorecard together and ask, what actually happened here? What surprised us? What flopped? What showed real buying intent? That's where insights live, not in the data alone, but in the discussion around it. I know. This is where the fun part begins, where your profitable indecision turns into decisive action. Because once you've tested your 3 campaigns and gathered your data, you get to make your next move with confidence. Let's say your scorecard after 1 month looks like this. Campaign A, LinkedIn, CPL, $45, lead to call rate, 60%. Campaign B, Facebook, CPL, $25, lead to call rate, 20%. Campaign C, CPL, $80, lead to call rate 75%. Now, most people would see Facebook's cheap CPL, only $25 per lead, and go, boom, that's the one, let's scale it. But that's the trap because those leads, they're not showing up. They're low intent. You're basically buying ghosts. Meanwhile, your LinkedIn campaign might cost a bit more per lead, but 60% of them are showing real interest. And your Google ads, yeah, they're expensive, but they're bringing in serious buyers. So what do? You kill campaign B. You don't care that it's cheap, you care that it's effective. Then for month 2, you take your $3,000 budget and double down on the vendors. Maybe 2,000 goes to LinkedIn, 1,000 stays on LinkedIn to see if you can optimize that CPL down, or you can do 50-50. That's it. That's how you turn indecision into data and data into profit. Most businesses never reach this point because they skip the testing. They jump straight to scaling something that hasn't proven itself yet. But when you use this framework, you're not gambling, you're engineering your success. All right, I know that was a lot of steps, but stay with me because next I'm going to show you what this looks like in real life with real numbers for my own campaigns. This one lesson ended up making me over $12,000 in profit just by making one smart shift. Let's dive into it. A while back, I was working with a client, a B2B software company. Smart team, good product, solid brand, but they were stuck. They'd been running the same LinkedIn campaign for months, promoting a content download ad for a white paper. Looked professional, it got clicks, and it even brought in leads. They were spending $10,000 a month getting leads at about $95 each. So on the surface, things looked fine. But when I looked closer, I noticed something weird. They were getting all these leads, yet their sales team was barely booking calls. So I asked them, how many of these leads are actually turning into a real conversation? They said, not sure, probably not enough. And that's when I knew we had a classic case of false confidence. So I said, let's try something. Just for 1 month, let's embrace some strategic indecision. We didn't scrap their campaign, we split it. We took their $10,000 budget and divided it evenly into 3 smaller tests, just like the framework. Campaign 1, the original content download ad. Same targeting, same creative, just reduced to a $3,500 budget. Cost per lead, about $95. Campaign 2, a brand new webinar offer targeting the same audience. Instead of a PDF, they join a 30-minute live session where the founder walked through a real use case. CPL, $120. Campaign 3, a direct problem agitation ad. It skipped the content completely and went straight to the juggler. Stop wasting money on leads that goes to your sales team. Let's hop on a 15-minute call. No fluff, no pitch deck, just strategy. CPL, $150. Now here's where it got interesting. After 30 days, we pulled up the scorecard, and the numbers were eye-opening. Campaign 1, the safe one, had a CPL of $95. Not bad, right? Except only 10% of those leads actually booked a call, so their real cost per qualified lead, $950. Yep. $950 per lead that actually talked to sales. Campaign 2, the webinar, had a CPL of $120, a bit pricier, but 25% book calls. So that's $480 per qualified lead. Better, but still not amazing. Campaign 3, the direct consultation ad, had the highest CPL at $150, but here's the magic. 65% of those leads booked a call immediately. That brought their cost per qualified lead down to $230. So think about that. We're spending more per lead, but for triple the conversion. By being indecisive for just 1 month, we discovered that their supposed winning strategy was actually their weakest link. The next month, we reallocated 80% of the budget to that consultation ad. And within 60 days, their pipeline was full of qualified opportunities, not just raw leads. That's not just the leads doubled, but they actually had a pipeline now. And the kicker here is they made over $12,000 in additional profit that quarter from a campaign they would have never tested if they hadn't embraced what looked like a bad habit. So as you see, what looks like a flaw on the surface, that little hesitation, that urge to test instead of commit, can actually become your biggest asset when you apply it the right way. All right, let's do a quick recap. The so-called bad habit that doubled my qualified leads and could do the same for you is what I call strategic indecision. You implement it using 3 steps. The parallel playground. You run 3 small campaigns at once. Don't bet on one horse before you know which one can win. Number 2, the scorecard. Track your data ruthlessly. Not just cost per lead, but also your lead to qualified call rate, because quality always beats volume. Show up rate is also important here. The double down decision. This is number 3. Once you have data, kill the losers and reinvest the campaigns that actually bring in buyers, not just clicks and opt-ins. And these people got to show up to their calls as well if you have a sales team. When you follow this process, you stop guessing and start knowing. You move from throwing spaghetti at the wall to cooking a data-driven gourmet meal. Now, I know this takes work, setting up campaigns, tracking results, optimizing. It's not exactly a 1-hour project. And if you're watching this thinking, Jem, this all sounds great, but I don't have the time or bandwidth to run all those teams and tests myself. I need qualified leads now. Then that's literally what I do. My company handles everything, the testing, the tracking, the optimization, all of it. We deliver pre-qualified, ready to buy, high intent leads that are specifically tailored for your business. We already have done the testing, so you don't have to. And we continuously test as well. You just get a list of people who already raised their hand and said, yeah, I'm interested. So if you want to skip the line, start talking to potential customers as soon as next week, book a quick call with me. The links right in the description. We'll see if my lead generation service is the right fit for your business. And if it is, I'll help you fill your calendar with people who actually want you to sell to them. If you got value from this video, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and stay tuned because in the next one, I'm sharing another counterintuitive strategy that most marketers completely overlook, but can quietly double your conversion rates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.